That's a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Wayne. And good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our service here at UCDC. It's a beautiful summer day, and we hope to share that beauty with you wherever you are. My name is John Bell, and I'll be your platform assistant today. We are very fortunate to have as our speaker today our own wonderful Rev Karen Gray, and the music equally wonderful, coming to us from the West Coast. It's our friend Wayne Wilentz. Today I chose for our centering prayer something from the book, The Essential Rumi. This is called The Gift of Water. Someone who doesn't know the Tigris River exists brings the caliph who lives near the river a jar of fresh water. The caliph accepts, thanks him, and gives in return a jar filled with gold coins. Since this man has come through the desert, he should return by water. Taken out by another door, the man steps into a waiting boat and sees the wide, fresh water of the Tigris. He bows his head. What wonderful kindness that he took my gift. Every object and being in the universe is a jar overfilled with wisdom and beauty. A drop of the Tigris that cannot be contained by any skin. Every jarful spills and makes the earth more shining, as though covered in satin. If the man had even seen a tributary of the great river, he would not have brought the innocence of his gift. Those that stay and live by the Tigris grow so ecstatic that they throw rocks at the jugs, and the jugs become perfect. They shatter. The pieces dance and water. Do you see? Neither jar, nor water, nor stone. Nothing. You knock at the door of reality. Shake your thought wings. Loosen your shoulders and open. Amen.
Of the wonderful things that you get out of life, there are four. A baby, and that may not be many, but nobody needs any more. Of the many facts taking the list of life, truth takes the lead, and to relax, knowing the gist of life, it's truth you need. And the second is honor, and happiness makes number three. When you put them together, you know what the last one must be. Baby, so the truth, honor, and happiness. Add one thing more, meaning only wonderful, wonderful love that makes it four. Don't you know the score? People when they're younger never realize the treasure life's got. But as they grow over, realize a lot. They got their minds on all the wrongest scenes and things that cost a lot of money, but it's really very funny. They fade away and don't amount to a hill of beans. Funny how the things in life we really should adore, we forget or ignore, end up poor. Making money till you're nigh unto madness and end up with sadness. Youth is the time when we should see the light, 'cause when we're old and wasted, the dues we all tasted right so high that we pay till we die. Then we know that youth we made us strong is wasted on the young. So enjoy it gaily, young. Oh, live it daily, you'll find a lot of things that bring you joy and give peace of mind. You get it while the getting's good, and everybody, if they only could, life would be a set, life would be a groovy set, groovy as a movie. Well, let your voice be heard, spread the word. Everybody here got ears, only gotta teach them how to use them and not abuse them. So take a tip from me. The world's everything it ought to be, as long as you can be sure there is no more to life than the same old four. Of the wonderful things that you get out of life, there are four. Baby, and that may not be many, but nobody needs any more. Of the many facts heading the list of life, truth takes the lead, and to relax, knowing the gist of life, it's truth you need. And the second is honor, and happiness makes number three. When you put them together, you know what the last one must be. A baby, so the truth, honor, and happiness. Add one thing more, meaning only wonderful, wonderful love that makes it four. And there ain't no more. Thank you.
Beloveds, remember how Lafayette used to open his talks that way? And I told him that I thought it was the perfect way to begin a message, because then if anything went wrong, like there was a fire alarm or something and everybody had to evacuate, you got out the most important message with that one word, that reminder that we are all fully beloved. And I think that is the highest truth, that we are fully loved always. And if that message comes across, then nothing else can be missing. So, beloveds, it is a privilege to be invited to share my thoughts and ideas. And it takes some preparation to do this. And it's a blessing also to be prompted to sit with my quiet self and invite whatever truth or question might be supportive to you through me. And even something like this, preparing a sermon, something that feels like a solitary activity, is not actually something for me to do on my own. I couldn't do it alone. When I have to do something like this, I remember that I am guided and informed by Spirit, and I am supported by the many, many helpers, mortal and otherwise, who show up when I need them. And I think that this is the highest truth I know, that we're never really alone. We're never alone. But in order to make ourselves reachable by the one true source, we can take in a lot of information and material. We have many, many resources. We are certainly blessed. But then we just need to distance or separate ourselves from somehow from all that input, the books and the websites and the teachers, all those worldly crutches, which are important to us. We value them, but they are really just accessories. They are accessories in life when compared to the divine wisdom, light, and love that we find available to us when we get still and enter the kingdom within, the sacred, holy, personal kingdom within. To get still and enter the kingdom, to allow ourselves to just be with that. I don't find it easy. I actually work pretty hard at it. And I manage. And I realize the most productive of all activity is the act of being. And it seems like nothing. It seems like doing nothing. But what could be more miraculous than to be? The very fact that you are here in all your divine glory. Everything else is just, icing on top. So I'll say it again, the most productive of all activity is being. And in that being, we know the still small voice. I want the still small voice to speak up a bit because I am hard of hearing and I am very busy. And in my busyness, I often miss what the still small voice is trying to say to me. I become completely oblivious to the fact that that still small voice is speaking to me, keeping me company with wisdom and affection and good sense all the time, all the time. So why do I still treat the still small voice as a special guest for special occasions? It's a habit. And I love that voice. I know I do because I have had the experience of getting quiet and giving it my attention. And I know the perfection of that embrace. And still, I forget. I get, lost. I give into the busyness. What would it take to change that, to improve my habit there? I suppose if I knew that my days were numbered, maybe I would pay better attention. If I knew that I were going to die, that I only had a certain number of days left, how would I use them? I am not afraid of dying. In fact, I kind of love the idea of dying. It's not that I love the idea of leaving loved ones, leaving certain things undone or feelings shared or thoughts unexpressed. I don't, love that. I love living. I really love living. It's just that knowing that our days will come to an end is part of what makes them precious now. In whatever time I have left, I need to do what is mine to do. Perfect formula for living. We don't want to imagine that we have endless days and endless time for waiting and procrastinating because, in fact, as you've already realized, my days are numbered. It might be a big number. I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to die. I don't know when. Stephen Wright, the comedian, I'm going off script. Stephen Wright has this line. He says, my girlfriend asked me if I would want to know how I'm going to die. I told her no. She said, okay, then I won't tell you. Okay, back on to my points. Okay. I'll just say this, life has been really interesting so far. So I welcome it. I'm totally on board. I'm here for whatever else is coming. And we do not know what it's going to be, as life has proven to us time and time again. But the thing is, here's the thing. I no longer get on an airplane and have a moment of, oh no, but what if this plane goes down? And I used to do that whenever I got on a plane. And I absolutely just don't do that anymore. I tackled my fear of death a little over 20 years ago, right after my dad died, because suddenly he was no longer on the planet and I couldn't reach out to him the way I had for almost 40 years at that point. It didn't add up. How could all that love and wisdom and personality and kindness and helpfulness, how could that suddenly just not be here anymore? That was impossible. So I had to start asking, where did he go? Where is my dad now? And that was the beginning of my spiritual journey. And I really did get some answers to those questions. Through the reading and study and community, I came to a place where I could understand that, yeah, my dad's life is eternal. And he is still my dad. Dying changes a lot, but a loved one doesn't cease to be, nor will I, ever. There will just be some changes made. Learning to be unafraid of dying enables us to face that our days are numbered and precious. Our days are precious. And I think maybe this is the highest truth I know. When Kaywood invited me to speak to our community here, I probably moaned and lamented that I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And he offered his guidance to just speak to the highest truth you know, as if that simplifies it. And I do think it's a good idea, but I know that for some of us, we don't speak to the highest truth we know. We speak to the most confounding question that will not leave us alone. We grab a hold of that question, that doubt, that uncertainty, that problem. We wrestle with it for a while. We scribble down notes. We cross them out. We start over again. And we finally come to some place where we can rest with what we have figured out so far. And then eventually we share the outcome of that experience. And it's a great opportunity. It is definitely a blessing of being a minister, getting to really wrestle with the questions. The beauty is not just in the answers, right? It's in all that wrestling. To help me consider the highest truth I know, I started thinking about the highest level truth teller I know, and that's Lafayette. I had started attending Community on the Hill, maybe a couple times I'd been, when one day Pat Weeks said to me, "Have you heard Lafayette speak yet?" I said, "No." To me, that was just another name on the list, a list of upcoming speakers. She smiled. You can picture it, right? She smiled and nodded. "Oh, wait until you hear Lafayette." Now, I've never really been one to get into celebrities and stuff. So I just thought, yeah, okay, well, I'll hear him when he's there and, maybe I'll be impressed. We'll see. So a couple weeks later, he was the speaker. And yes, he made an impression. At that point, I was just about to finish my seminary studies as an interfaith minister. And I definitely felt a little modest, intimidated, unsure about calling myself a minister. We all did. It was a whole day of curriculum, just coming to peace with referring to yourself and believing in yourself that you're a minister. What does that mean? But I felt very, very comfortable with the fact that I was going the interfaith route. For some people, interfaith means bringing people of different faiths together, and that's good. But for me, it was different. For me, interfaith just means faith, more like inner faith. It's just faith. I never found a single faith tradition that really did it for me. And so on that Sunday morning in the spring of 2003, as I was about to embark on my own interfaith ministry, here was this big, gentle man with a beautiful, deep, wise voice. I thought he had Baptist preacher written all over him. Of course, that was his origin. But on that day, he was paying tribute to a friend from Pakistan. And so he opened up with a prayer to Allah. And I can't remember what he had, but on his wrist, he had like the Om symbol or something from Hinduism or Buddhism. And his talk would include references to the Kabbalah, which he had taught, I think, while living in Pakistan. He was just everywhere. And I said to myself, now that is an interfaith minister. Religions serve a purpose, but I was always resistant and ill at ease with the rules and boundaries. Getting to know Lafayette, I could see that while I was busy dismissing religions as human-run systems, often with corruption, Lafayette was busy finding beauty and value in all that he encountered and sharing that beauty with anybody who was lucky enough to cross his path. Lafayette knew and demonstrated that there is only one presence. Faith is simply a relationship with the divine. Presence is all there is, this one beautiful presence, this unity, this totality, this universality. All of this is truth. It just doesn't have to be very complicated. Lafayette just took the truth and made it bigger. more memorable and comforting. What was better than closing our eyes and letting ourselves be taken into a moment of prayer and meditation led by Lafayette? His prayers were big and confident, no middling stuff. I remember him affirming, all that I need, require, and desire. The word desire right there in a prayer. That is not something he learned from his Southern Baptist origins. And there was some complexity to this truth teller, of course. There are some truths that you've got to sit up and be ready for. But he didn't always give you that chance. Sometimes he didn't mind taking people by surprise. He liked to open up a talk at a funeral or memorial service with these big, loud words. You cannot die. And he told me that he liked to see people looking perplexed and startled. I can't do that. Leading memorial services is probably my favorite thing to do as a minister, but I have a very different approach, as I should, because I'm a different person. But boy, I really get his point. I'm aware, when I do it, I'm aware people are hurting, and so I try to be real gentle, but he could do it. He could make it work, because you could not be in the presence of Lafayette and not feel comforted. So he could say it. He could say whatever he wanted, and it would work. He was just being truthful. There is sadness in loss and dying. But if we believe what we say we believe, then death is not as sad as we let on. Lafayette was just 100% authentic. He never gave up on the truth because of his love for the truth and his love for everyone he shared it with. And this particular truth, that this physical body is a vehicle and an instrument, this is great. But when we're grappling with the very real losses that we experience around death, this is our time also to embrace the beautiful peace that comes with affirming the great truth that life is eternal. And maybe that is the highest truth I know. We are all truth seekers. It is an ongoing quest. No matter how good you are at it, you never get to the end. You just keep on going. Truth is universal and also personal. I often reflect on Unity's origin as a school of practical Christianity, not as an institution to tell you how to live your life. Unity teachings support our exploration and growth. And Lafayette used to cite Charles Fillmore saying, I reserve the right to change my mind. And there is so much packed into that statement. I'm just going to highlight quickly 3 of them. The first one, we are growing. We change our minds because we come to new understanding. And this is the way of personal evolution and growth. Second, the truth resides within us. We change our minds because we have clarity, and that clarity is something that happens within, not because someone else has told us what's true. Each of us is responsible to seek and reach understanding, and each of us can do it. We can do it. We can find helpers, but then it's up to us. When a story is told, it means one thing to me and a different thing to somebody else, and we're both right, because the truth is internal. The third point is, okay, again, when you say I reserve the right to change my mind, the third thing that's telling us is that truth is in the present moment. What was true yesterday isn't necessarily the same. It's true right now. This is what matters right now. We're never settling into an understanding and then getting rigid with it. that would cease to be truth. That would become just like yesterday's good idea. And that just takes us back to point number one, that we are growing. One more thing about Lafayette. One day I asked him, Laffy, did you know that that was a nickname for him? I didn't actually call him that, but he told me that some people called him Laffy. So I said, Lafayette, if you could only give one sermon, what would be the topic? And it was a rhetorical question. I knew he would say love, because of course love is obviously it. And that as soon as he gave me the answer that I was ready for, I was going to go on with my follow-up question that I had ready. So I said, Lafayette, if you could only give one sermon, what would be the topic? And he said, forgiveness. And that stopped me in my tracks, because I wasn't ready for that. I mean, forgiveness is great, but how could love not be first? So I really thought about that, and I came up with this. Forgiveness is the number one topic because it offers the way to love, maybe the way back to love. So you can know all you want to know about love, but if you've got a problem with forgiveness, then you can't get there, right? So that's what it is. When we fully forgive others, when we fully forgive ourselves, when we fully forgive our life's experience, our circumstances, then we have actually stopped being judgmental of God's work. When we are forgiving, we are accepting divine order. We are residing in love and truth. Forgiveness is the way. Remember, we were not born bitter. We were born at peace. Sometimes we pick up a grudge or a resentment about someone or something, and to linger with that is to remain in an unnatural state. To give is to return to normal, to equanimity. And only then can we be fully present with the love that is the essence of life, the essence of God, the essence of who we are. So thank you, Kay Wood, for inviting me to speak today. I tried a little bit, but not too hard, to identify a single highest truth that I know. It's not easy to narrow it all down. You know, we get a lot of good teachings around here. I think this is why unity has 5 basic principles, not 1, right? It's kind of hard to narrow it down, but I could, if I really want to, I could. And it would, of course, be principle number 1. There is one presence and one power. God is all there is. This is it. This is the single highest truth. Everything else is an extrapolation. Because with this truth, we are liberated from the notion of God as an entity, and we are brought home to the realization of God as the essence of all that is, not an entity that could possibly be separate from us, but the essence of all that is. So here are some of the truth statements I've shared today. We are fully loved always. We are never alone. Life is eternal. Love and God is all there is. So, beloveds, pick a truth, one of those or your very own, and let's prepare for meditation. So, dear ones, let's relax, be comfortable. Consider if there's any little adjustment or change you might make that would leave you 5% more comfortable. And sigh with me. Let's do it again. Know that this present moment is all there is right now. You are completely safe, and you are right where you ought to be. If you'd like to close your eyes, do that and consider these statements. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the Good. My essence is of God, therefore I am inherently good. Through the omnipotence of my God self, I trust that this day I am sufficiently equipped to be present to all circumstances that come my way. I live in the harmony of divine love. I release my doubts as I reaffirm my confidence in divine love and divine law. I find within me the source of all that I need, require, and desire. I am grateful for the rich and full provision of all my needs and for ample and clear guidance. I am willing to be of service, and I offer myself as an instrument of peace, truth, and healing. Each day is a precious opportunity for me to know and express more of my divine nature. I affirm these truths and will carry them with me as I go forth. And so it is. Amen.
And when I die, and when I'm dead, dead, dead and gone, there'll be one child born and a world to carry on, to carry on. I'm not scared of dying, and I don't really care. If it's peace you find in dying, well then let the time be near. If it's peace you find in dying, and when dying time is near, just bundle up my coffin, cause it's cold way down there. I hear that it's cold way down there, yeah, crazy cold way down there. And when I die, and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born in the world to carry on, to carry on. My troubles are many, they're as deep as a well. I can swear there ain't no heaven, but I pray there ain't no hell. Swear there ain't no heaven, and I pray there ain't no hell. I'll never know by living, only my dying will tell. Yeah, only my dying will tell. Yeah, only my dying will tell. And when I die, and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born and a world to carry on, to carry on. my freedom for as long as I be. All I ask of living is to have no chains on me. All I ask of living is to have no chains on me. And all I ask of dying just to go naturally. I only wanna go naturally. Let me go naturally. Here I go. Here I go. Here come the devil right behind me. Here I go. Right behind me. Don't wanna go by the devil. Don't wanna go by the demon. Don't wanna go by Satan. Don't wanna die uneasy. Just let me go naturally. And when I die, and when I'm dead, dead, dead and gone, there'll be one child born. There'll be one child born in the world to carry on, to carry on. Thank you.
For our closing prayer today, I have something from a book of Celtic verse, something that turns out to be quite complementary, I think, to what we talked about today. This is a poem called Ode, O-D-E, by Arthur O'Shaughnessy. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers, on whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. With wonderful deathless ditties, we build up the world's great cities, and out of a fabulous story, we fashion an empire's glory. One man with a dream at pleasure shall go forth and conquer a crown, and three with a new song's measure can trample an empire down. We in the ages lying in the buried past of the earth built Nineveh with our sighing and Babel with our mirth, and o'erthrew them with prophesying to the old of the new world's worth. For each age is a dream that is dying, or one that is coming to birth. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.